Hello, my name is Brehon Mills and I would like to welcome you back to my channel. Now, most people have it all wrong when it comes to building wealth. Wealth is not the same as income. So you can make a lot of money, and if you spend it all, you are not on the path to creating wealth. Wealth is what you accumulate, not what you spend. This book here dives deep into the strategies of how majority of the people in this country accumulate wealth. And I will unpack some of these strategies for you in the next few minutes. So let's dive in. Now, the first question is, who becomes wealthy? Well, a financial study of all U.S. households were performed in 1996. They found that 25% of households had an annual income exceeding $50,000, and more than 7 million households had an annual income that exceeded $100,000. And yet, most of them had small levels of accumulated wealth. They also studied the men and women who were millionaires next door. The authors took their findings and dedicated this book to the people with the potential to become the next millionaire next door. The authors noted 7 factors for the accumulation of wealth. Number 1, they live below their means. Number 2, they allocated their time, energy, and money efficiently in ways conducive to building wealth. Number 3, they believe that financial independence is more important than displaying high social status. Number 4, their parents did not provide any economic outpatient care. Number 5, their adult children are economically self-sufficient. Number 6, they are proficient in target market opportunities. Number 7, they chose the right occupation. Part 1, meeting the millionaire next door. Now, how would you define wealthy? Well, most people believe wealthy refers to an abundance of material possessions, when in reality, those people we define as wealthy get much more pleasure from owning substantial amounts of appreciating assets like real estate, stocks, or businesses. The automatic millionaire defines the threshold level of being wealthy as having a net worth of $1 million or more. All right. Now, out of 100 million households, only 3.5 million can be considered wealthy. Around 95% of these millionaires in the U.S. have a net worth of $1 million to $10 million. They also found that most of the wealth created was in one generation. If they can do it, so can you, no matter your age or your profession, all right? Now, most of the people who become millionaires have confidence in their own abilities. You must have confidence. They do not spend time worrying about what others have to say. All right. Most people believe millionaires were given money or a head start in life. In all actuality, only 19% of millionaires received any income or wealth from a trust fund. Fewer than 20% received an inheritance. 50% received nothing from their parents. They set goals, established a plan, and they stuck to it. All right. Part 2. Frugal, frugal, frugal. We are constantly bombarded with images on TV or social media that manipulates the population into believing they must have this item in their life. And it's unfortunate that people are judged or seek acceptance for possessing those items. And consistently purchasing these items always lead to a predictable outcome: inferior economic achievement. You ever see someone that's always headed to the gym or always out walking around? You look at them, they're in great shape. They probably don't need to work out as much as they do. Then you look at a person that should be exercising a few days a week. They know they should, but they lack the discipline to do so. And they won't budget their time for it and stick with it. And it's the same with finances. Most people will not take the time to budget or plan. For the millionaires who don't budget, they use the pay yourself first strategy. They save and invest a minimum of 15% of their annual income. Remember, it doesn't matter how much you make. It's all about how much you save. All right. You have doctors and lawyers out here living paycheck to paycheck, and you have plumbers with $1 million in the bank. Being frugal is a cornerstone of wealth building. Always have been, always will be. Number 3, time, energy, and money. Efficiency is the most important components of wealth accumulation. Plan, plan, plan. It is better to measure 10 times and cut once versus measuring 1 time and cutting 10 times. All right. Most millionaires next door make sound decisions when making car purchases. I remember when I was in the military, I had arrived to my duty station after finishing up basic training, and I needed a car. Well, there were newspapers around with a bunch of car dealerships. I called one of the car dealerships, and they were about an hour away. They came, they picked me up, and they took me to the car lot. When I arrived, the first question they asked was, well, what type of car payment do you want? I said, well, I can do around $250. He walked me over to a 1991 all-white Hyundai Excel hatchback coupe. He said, man, you are gonna get all type of attention when you get back to the base. I said, where do I sign, you know? And I drove off of that lot in my 1991 all-white Honda Excel hatchback coupe with that imitation leather seats and that 28% interest rate. You know, he got me good. He saw me coming a mile away. He told me I would be getting all type of attention. Well, he lied. And that car turned out to be a piece of junk too. Now, I would have done many things different. I would have measured 10 times and cut once. I would have first identified 2 cars I'm interested in, maybe the year I want, the maximum amount of miles. I would have researched for any mechanical problems for those cars. I would have went to my own bank to get approval beforehand. I would have been putting the time up front that could have ultimately saved me thousands in the long term. It's not only important to plan for your next car purchase, but have a plan for your life. How much money do you want to have when you retire? How much stock do you want to own? Who's going to get it when you're gone? Huh? Who's going to get the house? Who's going to get those cars? When you properly plan out your future, you have a higher success rate for wealth accumulation. All right. Part 4, you aren't what you drive. Now, if your goal is to become financially secure, you're likely to attain it. But if your motive is to make money, to spend money on the good life, you're never going to make it. You can learn a great deal about affluent people by analyzing their vehicle habits. Actually, millionaires shop for dealers that provide great deals versus shopping for a deal. Okay. All right. We want the dealers because the dealer is going to give us the great deals. All right. Now, on average, 81% of millionaires purchase their vehicles, while the remaining 19% will lease. All right. Overall, the automatic millionaire gets more satisfaction purchasing a great used car over a new one. They would rather let someone else take the initial blow of the depreciation. Now, most will buy used, sell it in 3 years, and recoup most of what they paid for the purchase and put that towards another car. All right. Now, never go to the dealership without a plan. All right. Never, never, never. Number 5, economic outpatient care. Now, economic outpatient care is the term used to describe the adults who still heavily rely on their parents' money to support their lifestyle. Now, many of today's parents that demonstrated significant skill at accumulating wealth often find it hard to say no to their children or their grandchildren. They feel compelled, even obligated, to provide economic support for their older children, all right, and their families. Now, most of these adult children are financially irresponsible. The more they receive, the more they spend, and the less they accumulate. When your adult children haven't developed the habits of saving, when they haven't developed the discipline of frugality, and when they haven't developed a sense of accountability and responsibility, It's not your fault, okay? It's not your fault, parents. Listen, we can't predict the future, but what's going to happen when those parents are no longer here? Teach your own to live on their own. And in the long run, it is in the best interest of both the children and the parents, all right? Number 6, affirmative action, family style. You ever seen a man who couldn't get his life together? You know, a goof off. All of the other brothers and sisters are doing great in life, but this guy doesn't take life serious. Can't get a job. Mom and dad consistently, they're always bailing him out. Now, parents of adult children likely find that some of their children have a greater need for substantial financial help than others. The more economically successful the sibling is, the smaller the financial gift they receive. All right? You know how it is. One more bailout for the goof off, right? Now, the role of the enlightened parent is to strengthen the weak. When you consistently give your adult children your money, you do the opposite. You continue to weaken the weak. Now, here are 10 rules for the affluent parents and productive children. All right? Number 1, never tell children that their parents are wealthy. All right? Number 2, no matter how wealthy you are, teach your children discipline and frugality. All right, number 3, assure that your children won't realize you are affluent until after they have established a mature, disciplined, and adult lifestyle and profession, okay? Number 4, minimize discussions of the items that each child and grandchild will inherit or receive as gifts. Number 5, never give cash or any significant gifts to your adult children as part of a negotiation strategy. And number 6, stay out of your children's family matters. Number 7, don't try to compete with your children, okay? Number 8, always remember that your children are individuals. Number 9, emphasize your children's achievements no matter how small, not their symbols of success. Number 10, tell your children that there are a lot of things more valuable in life than money. Good health, longevity, happiness, a loving family, self-reliance, great friends. If you have 4 or 5 of these, you are already a rich person. Money is just the icing on the cake. All right. Now, part 7, find your niche. In the next decade, there will be more wealth in this country than ever before. Opportunities to serve the wealthy will be in greater demand. Those who are specialists in solving problems of the affluent and their heirs should be in great demand during the next 20 years. According to the book, this list includes attorneys who specialize, medical and dental care specialists, asset liquidators, facilitators, appraisers, educational institutions, professional services, housing specialists, fundraising counselors, and that's just to name a few. In the next 20 years, the future millionaires next door will have to use every option within the law to remain a millionaire. So what does that mean? Diversify, diversify, diversify. You must have various sources of income, okay? Part 8, millionaires versus heirs. The final chapter of this book speaks to the business owners, the self-employed. Did you know only 1 in 5 business owners turn his or her business over to the children to own and operate? You see, they know the odds of succeeding in business are slim to none. To be a business owner, you must have a strong desire to be self-employed. If you have a lack of trust in your own ability, entrepreneurship may not be your calling. Yes, you are more likely to become affluent if you're self-employed, but most business owners are not millionaires and never will be. All right? Now, most of these millionaires encourage their children to become self-employed professionals, such as physicians, attorneys, engineers, architects, accountants, etc. They believe that once you acquire the knowledge and develop expertise in one of these areas, this is a form of intellect that you could take anywhere in the country. And there you have it, the Millionaire Next Door.
Welcome to my channel, Stocks and Books by Bree, where we talk about buying stocks and dividends, dividing and supplemental learning. Want the secret? Gotta read. Here we go over the fundamentals you need to succeed. Major keys hit some gems, economic gems. So be sure to go hit subscribe so you can stay linked in.